Welcome to the Hot Seat, powered by Affordable Staff. David Judge here, and welcome to Season 2 of the Hot Seat, where we release a new episode every second Tuesday, and where we talk to industry influencers that have worked hands-on in the real estate industry to find out where they see current and future trends and what you can do about it to support and grow your business. Now, in this season, we're doubling the number of episodes to a total of 18, and if you're listening and not watching this, you know what? We're actually standing in our office in the Philippines. That's right, even though we're traveling, the show must go on, and I'm here to introduce today's guest and give you a quick brief on what this episode is all about. So today, we're interviewing Kasey McDonald from Property Management Trading Academy on her experience in the industry as a property manager and now her experience consulting within the industry. Now, Kasey shares her early experience as a property manager, why staffing is one of the biggest challenges in the industry, the best way to recruit and find a person to work in the PM industry, the repetitive nature of the industry and how it all comes down to service, and the fear of PMs losing their job, and automation and AI and how it's going to disrupt the industry. Now, one of the benefits of interviewing Kasey is she's worked hands-on in the industry, but more importantly now works on the industry, so she has great insights on what's happening from an overall perspective and the number of tidbits on how to flourish in real estate. Anyway, time for me to stop talking. Let's play the episode and roll it. Hello and welcome. This is David here from the Hot Seat, and I have
Eva Judge.
And I have
Kasey McDonald.
And Kasey, where are you from?
Property Management Training Academy.
Excellent, fantastic. We'll talk more about that soon. But we're here on the Hot Seat today to talk to Kasey about where you've come from within the industry, where you see the industry going in the future, disruptors, etc., etc. Sounds cool?
Yeah, great.
Okay, so
Excellent.
Tell us about yourself and how you got into the industry.
20 years ago, I started in reception. I was originally from the Gold Coast and my family moved to Darwin. So that's where I started my property management career.
Yes.
20 years. And
Were you meaning to get in? It was a career by choice?
No, in fact, when I was at high school, I actually wanted to do physiotherapy.
Okay.
And purely just because I wanted to massage the football boys after their game.
Yes.
I'm not shy in telling you that's exactly what my... However, the brain wasn't very good at, chemistry and physics and things. So certainly the grades weren't there for me to then go to uni and study. So it just, real estate kind of fell into my hand, and a girlfriend of mine that I was working in a cafe with, her partner was in sales and they were looking for a receptionist. So he said, I think that you'd be great for the position. So started, and then like a lot of people's career got moved into property management very quickly with no training, and just there you go, there's a desk and I don't know, here's go do a routine inspection.
Okay, and that was in Darwin?
It was in Darwin.
Okay.
Wow.
And then what happened next?
What happened next? Wow. Well, the first inspection, if I could share just that little story, was went to a property which had Aboriginal squatters in it, and they had used the floorboards to make a bonfire in the lounge room. So that was the first house that I walked into and my first ever property management experience. So, yeah.
And you're still here.
I'm still here, yeah. You would think that from that maybe I'd go, really? Do I want to have this as a career? But no, I sort of saw that it was an industry that could offer a lot.
Yes.
And although some might look and think it's just a job, it wasn't like that for me. I saw it as a career. And then because of that, it led me to start my own agency when I turned 30.
And whereabouts was that? Was it in Darwin also?
No, I moved back to the Gold Coast, and I got started my agency down in Coolangatta, just there on the border. And, so I was doing New South Wales and Queensland in regards to property management. So, of course, I had to be au fait across two legislations and all those types of things. So, but then I was doing training as well while I had my agency. But I have always been one that wants to give back. And if I can share the experiences that I've had, good or bad, whatever they are, but if I can then guide and mentor and teach others maybe how not to make those same mistakes that I did, that's what I'm passionate about, and that's what led me to start the Property Management Training Academy.
Yeah, okay. And you must have watched or you must have experienced a lot of changes in the industry since you first started to now. A lot more legislation, do you think?
Yeah, look, I think it's become a lot more regulated. Well, certainly when I was in Darwin, they used to have the bonds just in your trust account. they never were lodged. Now, of course, that's certainly changed. They get lodged with the bond board up there now. Right. So there certainly has been changes. We used to do our condition reports on the dictaphones, where you would record it and walk around the house, and then you would sit there and have your earplugs in, and then you would type it out. And I remember that the dot matrix printers that, the receipts are on and you have to sit there for ages and then peel it off. And so technology, I think, has advanced, and that's just allowed the efficiency of our processes to be improved.
And what would you say you would see as the biggest problem or challenge in the industry right now?
I think it is staffing. It is probably the common question that I do get asked a lot when I'm with clients is, how do we find the right property manager for our business and keep them, and retention of that staff, absolutely. So it is a big thing that I'm finding where they've got the principals have their most challenges. They know that if they've got a body in the office, that they've got to look at all the other extra things that come with that. And then, of course, they've got to look at, well, is it affordable for me? So it's kind of looking at how their businesses are operating financially too. And so that's certainly what I help them with, to then find maybe it's not a property manager that they need. Maybe we can get a new person into the system, or maybe we can certainly look at, what offices or services that you guys provide and get the VA and those types of things. So, HR, I'd say, would be one of the biggest challenges.
So I was going to ask, is that across Australia? Have you noticed it, or is it in particular parts of the country? Has it stood out anywhere in a particular state or city where staffing is a bigger issue?
No, it actually, I think it's totally across the board in the industry where the challenges are recruiting, finding the right person who's going to fit the culture. And and look, I had those challenges when I had my agency, so I just had to think about things differently and adopted, well, I want someone who's going to provide really outstanding customer service. So I didn't look in the industry. And I know that might be sad to kind of say, but I didn't want someone with experience, because sometimes they bring bad habits. They may not actually fit your culture because of where they've come from before. So I decided to recruit outside of the industry, and I got a young girl who was actually working for Thrifty. And she was in the customer service department and handled the complaints kind of side of things with Thrifty. Perfect. And she fit the mould of my business and the vision that I wanted to have.
It's actually interesting, because I've had a number of agents tell me lately that they've been actually recruiting outside, particularly going to the retail field, because people coming in with that customer service level and that sales skills.
Absolutely.
So it's an interesting shift.
I found, the benefit certainly for me was that I was able to then teach her how I wanted things done in my office.
Absolutely.
And, because I was so passionate about property management, I had a sales division as well, but, property management certainly is more my passion. But I was able to then teach her what I felt, of course, was the right way, because my way is always right.
Yes, that's right. Right. It's all right, I feel the same way.
And I think that that allowed her to have a different skill set, and because property management is majority of repetitive tasks. You are doing the same things day in and day out, but it's how in which you actually do that task and what service you provide in the background. So I just found that's she delivered that in my business, and she was open to learning because it was something new. It wasn't like, oh no, I don't want to do that like that, because that's how I did it in I didn't do it like that in my last office. There was none of those conversations. So, if that's feedback for anyone, consider recruiting outside of the industry, absolutely.
And I look after a lot of the recruitment for our business, and that's one of the attributes that I always look for. It's not necessarily the skill set or the experience. It's more the hunger to learn and the attitude around it. So I think if you can get that part right, everything else will sort of fall into place.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Fantastic. And what would you say would be the biggest disruptors you'd see happening in the next few years within the industry?
Oh, well, I mentioned this a little bit in my session this morning, but I think there's going to be things in the background that are going to provide more automation for us, so artificial intelligence, if you want to call it that, right? Maybe it's not. But I think that it's looking at the services that you're certainly providing, because that is happening in the background, and it's taking away those mundane tasks. And it's allowing property managers to actually build relationships. And that's where I see the future of property management going. And technology being the disruptor.
Do you see a bit of resistance around that in the marketplace? Because obviously as technology comes out, it evolves and changes the industry. And you can see that the industry has evolved and changed itself over the time that you've been there. I know that we've certainly, working with clients, we've experienced resistance from property managers. I think maybe because they're concerned about the future of where their career is going to be and their role is going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there is a fear factor for that. But I think that the property managers need to consider, well, if I look at what some of those tasks are that I'm doing, and maybe from a time perspective, what holds me back from being able to return those phone calls by 5 o'clock in order for me to leave on time, in order for me to have my lunch break, it's moving them away from what they're doing and allowing them to build better relationships, and they're not seeing that just yet.
No.
The fear is the fact they're going to lose their job.
A lot of people are afraid of making those phone calls. And I think that's also sometimes a bit of a barrier because people are afraid of putting themselves out there. So potentially with some components or something.
Yeah, it's not. In all honesty, it's really not a forgiving job in a lot of ways. Like there are different things you have to deal with every single day, and no 2 days are the same, and then there's all this changes happening. Automation. We're destroying the industry, and but it really is just change in a lot of ways. I think that so the piece of advice you'd have then would be
I think they need to adapt to the change. It's the way that it's going to be. It's the fear factor of, well, if we can look at the trust software programs.
Yes.
You look at your console and your REST, and those users are so familiar with the functionalities of that program, and they're so fearful of going to a cloud platform because there's things that are not within that software, right? Because a cloud operates completely different. So the fear for them is, well, but I've always done it like that, and now I have to do it a different way.
Yes.
So, but they don't look at that and think, well, that's actually a positive, because the reason that's been built like that is because it's allowing for efficiency. Yeah.
Yes.
On a positive note, though, we're talking to a group and at the head office, and they've started rolling out Property Meet. So they're taking the plunge and rolling out, and they've had about 15 officers that have rolled out, and they all met together and they had a big meeting. It's like, how did it go? Is everything going all right?
Yeah.
And, they had nothing but good things to say about the transition that they made, and just talking about the experience of, how the Property Me person came out. They sat down and they went and said, okay, it's going to take X amount of time for us to convert. And then at the end gave them a report saying these are the things you need to fix. So once they see that and they have that confidence, they, start to make that change.
Yeah. And one other piece of advice is that property managers or principals shouldn't allow the property manager to make the decision in their business. And I know it's them working it every day, but I do think that business owners,
if you're too close to it,
the business owners need to say, well, what's the right decision for my business moving forward, and where is the vision of my business going? Yes. And of course, you don't want to lose your staff, and you want to keep them happy. I do understand that, but they shouldn't be the ones ultimately at the end of the day making the decision. It needs to be the business owners.
Yeah, because it needs to be a strategic decision.
Absolutely.
And there are sometimes things that your staff won't know or understand about that direction and about what's happening and about future changes that you're aware of yourself. So I agree totally.
Can I take it to a slightly different level? I'm noticing that there are some principals who have literally worked their way through the channel, and perhaps there is a gap where a lot of not a lot, but some of those principals have not actually had the experience of managing people or that experience of dealing with teams, and perhaps that's an area that they needs to be a little bit more explored. Or I guess that's why conferences is such a great idea, because they get to learn from the HR advice, from the trainers.
Absolutely.
So maybe that's one of the challenges as well, is that
people like Kasey.
Yeah.
That's right. I was thinking, obviously you work your way through. You start off as a receptionist.
Yeah.
And, you never start off as a business owner. It's a very different mentality. And obviously you developed into that role, but it can be a very big shift of
Absolutely.
Of thinking.
Did you ever read The E-Myth?
Yes.
Years ago? Yeah. And when we had our first business back in 1998, showing our age, That was one of the first books, and we had a business coach that we brought on board, and that was one of the first books he gave us. And then the second book was Who Moved My Cheese? I'm not sure if which is basically explaining how you're about to do some really uncomfortable things that I'm going to make you do.
That's right. Yeah, I do a little exercise in offices if I've sort of, I've gone in, I've done an assessment and then I identify that things do need to change. So I sit down with the team and highlight what they are, and I say, well, what I'm about to say or do and help you with may get uncomfortable. Yes. So I do the exercise of folding your arms.
Yes.
So you fold your arms like you normally would fold your arms, and then I say, now I fold them the other way, and it feels uncomfortable, right? I said, but the more and more that you actually do it and hold your arms in that way, the more comfortable it becomes. Yes. So right now, today, it's going to be really hard, but tomorrow it's going to be easier, and it's just going to keep getting easier. And I try to do that as a, something a little bit fun and quirky to get them to think about how changes doesn't have to be hard. Yeah.
Fantastic. Speaking of fun and quirky, now we're going to move on to the hot seat part of the hot seat. Where we're going to ask you a series of questions. We want you to keep them nice and short as possible.
All right.
I think so far we haven't had anyone make it all the way through within 60 seconds. So we're just going to roll this out and go through and ask you the questions. Okay, ready?
Ready.
Okay, fantastic. Your number one bucket list item?
Las Vegas.
Your favourite hobby? Work.
I don't know, maybe. Yeah. Oh, do you know what? Like, I actually just enjoy watching a movie, nice bowl of reds, dinner with my partner. Like, it's not a hobby, but just that time because I'm so,
We have kids, we understand. Strangest thing you've ever eaten?
Oh, okay. Well, from Darwin, I actually have had crocodile.
Just like chicken head.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Awesome. No, I'm joking.
I'll take that.
No.
How do you spend the first 3 hours of your day?
Well, actually, when I first get out of bed, I actually just try to reset. So something that my business coach actually taught me was every morning get up and plant your feet flat on the ground, and when you step out of bed, and it just kind of resets your mind for the day. So that's certainly one thing. The next thing for me is coffee. I just cannot function without one of those. I know that's sad, but yes.
No, I hear you.
Absolutely. And then it actually is, I just spend 5 minutes with my cat. I'm like absolute cat lover, but just to, that 5 minutes in the morning with her and just, I don't know, kind of gives me a sense of comfort for the day.
If you had a super yacht, what would it be called?
Oh, gosh. Wow. Wonder Woman.
Excellent. Right. Weapon of choice.
Oh, knife.
Biggest fear.
Well, actually, I do a lot of travelling, but I do have a fear of flying. And it's only been something, it's probably more of the anxiety, I suppose, but it's something that as I've gotten older, and I didn't realise that I'd actually had it. So even though I do a lot of travelling, but I'm very, very nervous. So and I do have to admit that I'm not very good in front of a video camera.
Yes.
So to actually, do that recording, that's very fearful for me. But I can certainly get up on stage as I did today and speak in front of a room of 300 people. And although I'm nervous, but I'm not fearful for that. So, yeah.
Yes, fantastic. Your biggest non-negotiable?
My biggest non-negotiable.
Hot seat.
Yeah. No, gosh. Well, communication for me. Okay. So it's something that I'm a big communicator. So I like just things to be really transparent, open and honest. That's who I am. And sometimes, I just say it how it is and that's my personality. But that's how I want people to speak to me too.
Excellent.
So
Monday or Friday?
Friday.
Your happy place?
At home with my partner.
One item you couldn't live without?
Wine. I said that one pretty quickly.
Yeah, you did. It was a little too fast. I'm like, what do I ask next? Last one. How many keys do you have in your key ring?
1.
Excellent, fantastic. Yeah, we don't carry keys on our key ring. We keep them separate. Yeah. Anyways, okay. So now we're at that point of the hot seat. We're finished. Thank you very much. You've done well.
Thank you for inviting me.
And what do you have going in your business right now? You'd like to share with everybody?
Yeah, well, got some exciting things happening. Heading over to America to attend some conference events, and just see how things are getting done more over there, and meet some of my clients that I'm already coaching.
Yes.
So hopefully going to be releasing different series for my American clients, and making sure that the membership products that I offer around my systems can be certainly for the US market as well. So
Fantastic.
that's some exciting things happening.
And if someone wanted to get in contact with you, what's the best way to do that?
They can certainly give me a call. My mobile is 0418 680948, or they're welcome to email me at kasey@pmtacademy.com.au.
Fantastic, and I'll include those in the show notes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much again for your time. Really appreciate you coming and sitting with us on the hot seat and going through all the questions.
Yeah.
And Eva, thank you as well.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll talk again soon. David from the hot seat with Eva and Kasey.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Bye, guys. Okay, thank you for listening to the episode with Kasey. And before you go, I'd ask if you enjoyed the episode that you subscribe to our podcast, which you can find when you search for The Hot Seat, wherever you listen to your podcast, and leave a review, as they really do count. Also, I want to remind you that Hot Seat is 100% powered by affordable staff. And to be honest, we could not put the Hot Seat together without outsourcing every component. Literally everything that we do outside of recording the footage, we send to our Philippines office, and they do the rest. So thank you to our team, especially Ira. Okay, great. Thank you again for your support of the first episode of Season 2, and we'll catch you in the fortnight for Episode 2 of Season 2. Bye.